Then I'll put these things here first.
Okay, thank you for your hard work. I can do the rest myself. I moved the last cardboard box into the house and sat on the sofa in the living room to rest. I turned on my phone and told my dad that I was safe. I've moved everything and I'm going to clean it up. My dad coldly gave me an okay sign. My name is Su Fu, a prospective freshman who has just finished the college entrance examination. After the college entrance examination, I got admitted to the City A next door to go to college. I told my family that I didn't want to live in a hotel and wanted to rent a house by myself.
As long as you don't break the law, you can do anything.
Well, because I grew up in a single-parent family, my dad is doing business alone outside. We leave early and come back late. We don't see each other even once in 10 days and a half. Although he provided me with material things I asked for, but in terms of giving family feelings, it can be said to be almost zero. As a result, I was very withdrawn in my family of origin. When I was in high school, I skipped school because of these things. My dad would go to the school teacher's office every 3 days. Even the guard uncle knows him. In addition, I don't like to talk much, and people in my class avoid me because of things like this. My dad contacted a house in a high-end community let me move here. I stood up from the sofa, looked at the messy luggage on the floor, and started to pack the things I'd moved. The house is full of cardboard boxes, large and small, piled on the floor with almost no room to walk. The phone suddenly rang. I walked to the sofa and picked it up and saw it was Xu Xinying calling. Xu Xinying is one of the few friends I still keep in touch with. Our families live across from each other, and we have been playing together as long as we can remember. What's wrong? Have you arrived in City B? Foo-foo! Her voice blasted in my ears like a loudspeaker. I quickly took the receiver away. I'm here and I'm ready to pack my things.
I will come to play with you another day.
I put down my phone and walked to the corridor to move the boxes I wanted to put on the balcony. When I walked to the balcony, I saw a big pool of water stains on the ground. I thought the room was not cleaned properly. I took a mop to remove the water stains and then moved other boxes. But when I walked to the balcony for the second time, I saw the puddle of water lying there intact. What the hell? I walked to the water stain with a mop and found that the water pipe next to it was leaking. I checked the water pipe online and found that the water pipe connected upstairs was leaking. Is the water pipe upstairs leaking? When I had almost packed my things, I planned to go out for a meal. I got dressed and went downstairs to wait for the elevator in the corridor. The elevator door opens. When I went in, I saw a boy inside, wearing a blue, very long jacket and a white mask. When he saw me coming in, he glanced up at me, then lowered his head to look at his phone. I felt weird looking at him. It's only around October, so it's not that cold. Because of the way he was dressed, I couldn't help but glance at him a few more times. I found a mole on his ear. I felt this was a bit rude, so I looked away. When I came back from eating outside, I wanted to go upstairs and tell my neighbors that their house was leaking. I went to the living room upstairs and started knocking on the door. As a result, after trying for a long time, there was no response.
Are you not at home?
I thought my neighbor might not be home, so I went back first. I was lying in bed at night and heard water drops on the balcony hitting the balcony floor. I was really tired after a long day of moving, but I couldn't sleep due to the noisy environment. So the more I thought about it, the more irritated I felt. I sat up planning to knock on the neighbor's door upstairs again. At this time, the door opened quickly. A boy is standing at the door. I was so sleepy that I couldn't open my eyes, so I didn't see his face clearly. Hello, your water pipe seems to be leaking. Can you go check it out? He turned around and walked back into the room. I heard some noise, and after a while, he came out and said,
I've sealed the pipe on my side. I don't know if there will be water leakage on your side. Otherwise, I'll go down with you and take a look.
Okay. He followed me downstairs with tape and tools. After entering the house, I was still awake. When I woke up, he was already squatting on the balcony helping me fix the pipes. I was a little confused when I reacted. Why did I let a strange man enter my home? I stood by the glass door of the balcony and watched him secretly. He looked very slender and wore a big gray sweater, which made him look so small. I looked up and found there is a very obvious black mole on his ear. You! He heard my voice and turned to look at me. His eyes are bright, and the ends of his eyes are slightly drooped, making him look like a puppy.
Ah, is it you? You're in the elevator today.
Well, I responded to him in a low voice. After all, there is no honor in admitting that this kind of impolite thing of staring at others.
Come here for a moment.
Oh, okay.
This water pipe is also old, and it's a bit weak here. If you want to replace it, it will be quite troublesome. I'll help you glue it up here. If there are still problems in the future, you can glue it here.
He reached out his hand from his sleeve and pointed to the spot where he had just pasted it. I stared at his hands. The fingers were long, and the skin was white and looked a bit unhealthy. Well, okay, thank you. He stood up looking at the glued water pipe. And then I saw his face clearly. Because I'm not short, he is half a head taller than me. The whole face under the long bangs looks very small, and the mouth is also very thin, although describing boys as beautiful is a bit strange, but he does have a very pretty face.
You're welcome. Did you just move here? It's so novel. There are very few new residents here.
When he smiles, his eyes become curved like crescent moons. Yes, I came here to study in college.
Are you still a college student? Wow, let's get to know each other. I live upstairs. My name is Yusheng.
Hello, my name is Su Fu. I also stretched out my hand and shook it back.
If nothing happens, I'll go back first. If you still have any questions, you can come to me.
Okay, I'm sorry to trouble you today. I walked him out the door and went back to bed, intend to fall asleep again. When I close my eyes, I will think of his eyes under the dim light, bright and wet, like a wet puppy. I rolled around on the bed holding the quilt. I think it may be the first time that I come to a city I don't know by myself. I went through a lot of things today, and it was a bit confusing. I feel a little confused in my mind. After waking up the next day, I went to the nearby supermarket to buy some daily necessities and food storage to fill the refrigerator. When I walked near the fruit area, I hesitated for a moment and decided to buy some fruit to give to the neighbors upstairs to express my gratitude. Go home and pack the things you bought from the supermarket. I washed the fruits and put them in bags to send upstairs. I came to Yusheng's house, took a deep breath, and knocked on their door. Yusheng was wearing a very wide white t-shirt, and his hair was messy, like a fried puppy. I always seem to think he looks like a puppy.
Huh? It's you. What's wrong? Is there another problem with the water pipe?
No. I bought this at the supermarket today. If you don't mind, please accept it. Thank you for helping me fix something yesterday.
Wow. Thank you. If you don't mind, please come in and sit down.
He invited me in with a fruit bag. I just saw the layout of his house clearly. As soon as I enter the room, there is a large piano and several guitars scattered in the back. There are 2 boxes of instant noodles and bread on the table. Do you want to eat this for lunch? I looked at him and asked uncertainly.
Well, yeah, I can't cook.
In order to thank my neighbors, I walked to the kitchen and rolled up my sleeves.
I don't mind.
Before I finished speaking, he quickly took out a bunch of vegetables from the refrigerator and placed them in front of me.
Let me help you.
What will you do?
I can boil water.
From that day on, Yusheng would often bring things to my house for dinner. Bring me a bunch of dishes or daily necessities. Every time you come here, I learned that he seems to be a music student and is engaged in music-related careers. He also showed me his singing video. His singing is very nice. He said singing was the only thing he had done over the years. He has loved singing since he was a child. I started learning to sing when I was 11 years old. The dream is to stand on a bigger stage. When he talked about this, his eyes seemed to be shining. I took the photo he showed me of him standing in the practice room and stared at it for a long time. I received a text message from Xu Xinying early in the morning. She said that a singer she followed was going to have her first concert in City B. I usually don't pay much attention to chasing stars, and I don't know much about these big and small things. Xu Xinying has been chasing stars since junior high school, very concerned about these news. Xu Xinying stayed at my house that night and got up early the next day to torment herself. Then you go alone today. I won't go.
Okay, then I will come back later today.
Okay. After she went out, I received a text message from Yu Sheng.
I can't eat Fufu's food today.
Huh. What's the matter, are you busy today?
Yes, I have something very important today. Do you want to come?
What?
Then will you make something delicious for me to eat? If not, it's okay.
Okay, then I'll make it and bring it to you.
Yeah. I will ask my assistant sister to pick you up.
Okay. After getting off the bus, Yu Sheng's assistant took me to a room and asked me to stay here and wait for him. I found a chair and sat down, holding in my hands the dinner I cooked at home. A few minutes later, the door rang. I turned around and saw where I was looking toward the door. I didn't dare to recognize it at first glance. He wore headphones, a jacket covered with sequins, and a black sleeveless short t-shirt underneath. He wore thick eyeliner, and his hair was permed and curly, which made him even more beautiful. You!
Hey, am I handsome today?
Are you an idol?
No, I'm a singer today as my first performance.
I won't be able to recover for a while. I suddenly remembered the concert Xu Xinying talked about today. The singer who is going to have her first concert in City B today. Is that you?
Oh, how do you know? I remember you never pay attention to these things.
No, I guessed it.
Ha 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 ha! Then do you want to watch my performance?
Well, do you want me to see it?
I want to, but I remember you said you weren't too interested in these.
Well, I'll go over and take a look later.
Okay, it's a deal. Then I'll get ready to go on stage.
Okay, go ahead. When I squeezed through the crowd to enter the scene, the performance has reached a fever pitch. The atmosphere at the scene reached its highest point. I squeezed into a crowd and stood in a small gap.
Hey, Fufu, why are you here? Didn't you say you're not interested?
A familiar voice exploded in my ears. Come if you like it. Like it? Do you like him too?
Eh? No. Where did you get the tickets? Did you also buy them?
I blinked at her, smiled, and said nothing. Soon her attention was attracted by Yu Sheng on the stage. The atmosphere at the scene continues to heat up. Everyone is enthusiastic. Have to say, Yu Sheng is a natural creator of atmosphere. He seems to be born to belong to this stage. He will shine only when he stands on the stage. Fufu, see if he is looking at me. She grabbed my sleeve and screamed excitedly. I looked at Yu Sheng on the stage. He looked in my direction and smiled brightly. Well, I should be watching. I smiled and was pulled by her, staring at Yu Sheng on the stage. At this moment, he was shining in my eyes. The cheers from the audience were long and warm. Later, I would often take Yu Sheng out for a walk. He is a person who doesn't like to go out very much. I often lose track of time while creating and don't even eat. We often go to the beach for walks. He likes to listen to music and will give me one of his headphones.